Alright, first out we got the build from Saya, which is a Link sword build with 2 judgement blades. Now this build actually has a lot of one-shot potential. The problem is that the instant you're out of invisibility, you can't use judgment blade anymore, otherwise you'll be too slow and everybody can avoid your attacks. So you just have to run around and spam your judgment blade, otherwise you just die. Anyways, I rate this build a 7.5 out of 10 because this can be easily countered with Bloxy Radar, but if people don't use Bloxy Radar, then you can effectively maybe one-shot the entire server if you're good enough at using Judgment Blade and the lunge attack with Link Sword. Next up, we got a slipknot build, tempo variant from Ham Biscuit. Now, as the dude said, this build is pretty confusing to do, since you gotta use your M2 and grapple all over the place. Yeah, the potential of this build is actually pretty good, since you have to go up close anyway to land quick kicks to go refill all your arrows, which means that you will essentially have better aim most of the time. Though you have very low HP, so maybe change them all with something else, since the wall isn't exactly needed. Oh yeah, also most of the footage in this video is laggy due to me having asthma. So I recommend just. Anyways, I rate this build a 8.5 out of 10. I'm only rating it this high because the potential of this weapon depends on the playstyle that you're going for. Because if you're someone that's really good at sniping people away from backline instead of being close up, then this build is definitely not for you. Next up, we got a katana build from a keyboard smash of a name. I can't pronounce any of that. Now, this build uses a skill and perk combo that I don't usually see that often, which is javelin with rebound. It's actually a pretty good combo. Oh, other than the combo of this build with the skill and perk, there's not really anything else to say, since this is just a normal katana build. All I have to go say is that if you're planning on using this build, make sure that you're close up when you use your M2 and don't forget to use your quick kick. Anyways, I also rate this build a 8.5 out of 10. It's pretty good killing potential if you're really good with the katana. Next up, we got a minigun build from Normandy. Now, as the dude said itself, this build is only meant for team gamers, which I also recommend. Otherwise, this build is completely useless and you're bound to be demolished every 5 seconds, since you can't really defend yourself that well. There's not really anything interesting that I can say about this minigun build, since it's just what every minigun build is. You just stay behind and then dash everywhere, and then run away as long as it's close, or just use your quick hit. There's not really anything that I can say about this. Next up, we've got a rocket launcher locked and loaded build. One of my favorite variants in the game. It's really good DPS and really fast fire rate for what it can do. Also, this build is made by Floki Extreme. At least I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Anyways, rocket launcher locked and loaded builds are really easy to play. All you do is just jump around and spam your ammo if someone gets too close to you. My only suggestion here is to go change the ability to fight jetpack, but other than that, it's pretty good. I rate the build a 8.5 out of 10. Actually, I do have another problem with this build. Why is the remix ability? Because rocket launcher has a build penalty if you use support weapons. So why are you arguing about things? You're a attack character, you're not a support character. As for the portal gun ability, it's okay. But I usually find myself dying before it helps me. The jetpack ability is fine though. Next up, we got a port gun build by a Russian name that I can't pronounce. At least, I think that's what the language is. And I'm gonna say this straight up, I am really bad with ET death. So, my rating on this will be a little bit biased. Anyways, my personal problem with ET death is that it doesn't fire instantly. There's a little bit of a delay before it hits the target. Also, the bullet is also slower than usual bullet speed. So that's why I find it hard to go hit your targets. Now, of course, you could just spam your aim and hope that you get a 3x multi-hit opponent, which could work, but at that point, you're better off using the General's Revolver. Anyways, I rate this build a 6.5 out of 10. It can be really good if you can land all your shots, but I can't. Alright, now we have a Super Ball build from a guy named Vryn, which appeared in my last build video. Anyways, this build is good because it actually utilizes the Super Ball damage from attacking dazed enemies. Which is, if you daze enemies, you get a 25% damage increase when using Super Ball. So it's pretty handy when you're using your remix ability or fractured star. Anyways, I rate this build a 9 out of 10 because it's very easy to make and very super. If you're starting out in the game, you could probably make out this build straight up. It barely costs anything. Alright, now I have a beginner-friendly generic chain whip build from YouTube. Now, something about chain whip builds that I don't understand is that why do people hate it so much? Like, if you're that bad at the game, just make it simple to specifically capture ninja whip. It's not that hard to counter. Anyways, with this build, you use your dashes periodically, so that way your drifter perk activates and you get faster. Also with chain whip, make sure to go hold down the left click button instead of spamming. Because holding it down actually attacks faster than spamming it for some reason. In case you didn't know. Anyways, I rate this build a 9 out of 10. It's a very good rusher build and pretty easy to play, as most of the builds in this video. Alright, now I have a build from MG YouTube. First off, with this build, I don't really think ravaging this small is needed because you're not exactly trying to rush people down if you're invincible most of the time. You can get killed pretty easily with tango chakrams because not many people look for invincible people in this game. Or have blocks the radar to go clink you down. Anyways, other than that, I don't really have any other complaints with this build because it's just good. I rated a 8.5 out of 10, not a 9 because I think grabbing the small can walk down to something else. But that's just my opinion. Alright, now we have a laser scythe build by this guy. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. With laser scythe builds, I don't really have anything to say about them because it's pretty easy to play and there's nothing special about this build. It's just you chase someone down and then you kill them, like what you usually do with laser scythe. Anyways, I rate this build an 8 out of 10. It's just your average laser type. Better than most, at least. Alright, now we got a slipknot build from Adder2533. Now, as you can tell, I'm not exactly that good with slipknot, so much of the gameplay here, you see, isn't really that good. Except for like at the end where I land some insane combos on some dude. Now this build actually has some 1-2-0 one-shot combos. The problem is that the remixability black hole bomb isn't that good. You should probably change it with something else. At least that is my opinion. I rate this build a 6.5 out of 10. There is a really huge learning curve if you want to go use this weapon properly with this build. Now we have another rocket launcher locked and loaded build by Comicals. This build is pretty similar to the last one, just that you're flying in air instead of just jumping repeatedly on the ground. Since this build is basically like the last one, I won't say much about it. I rate this build a 8.5 out of 10 like the last one. Alright, for the final build of the video, we got a epic sauce build from Eva Elgato. What does the profile picture kind of looks like? You know what? Never mind. It's probably not too important. In case you didn't know, all epic class builds are usually rush up. So you use your M2 and then you run into the enemy and kill them using your DLT, which means damage over time, in case you didn't know. With this build, don't expect yourself to get a lot of kills. You should expect yourself to get a lot of damage from the fire DLT. So you're about to get at least 3k damage per week, at least. Anyways, I rate this build a 8 out of 10. It could be a bruise because anti-heal pushing is probably swap. You don't really know. Of course, I could be wrong on that. Anyways, before the video ends, I want to thank y'all for watching until the end of the video. And on a side note, I am starting school again recently, so my daily post schedule, well, my weekly post schedule will probably be delayed by a lot due to procrastination and all that other stuff. So if you're expecting more frequent uploads, that's probably not going to happen. I will live stream more though. I currently intend to live stream every Saturday on YouTube. There won't be a specific time, just in case I'm busy with other work and stuff. So that's what I intend to do. And once again, thank you all for watching.